India has a rich culture, with many temples, hills and sanctuaries. It is well known for its majestic tourist places, hills, rivers, plateaus, plains, beaches, deltas and deserts, many luxurious hotels and resorts, picturesque nature sites, and whether it is Ajanta-Ellora caves or Taj Mahal, the love monument which comes under 7 wonders of world. From culture to traditions to history to nature to adventure to man-made beauties, it has the most amazing array of travel products and destinations to offer to the tourists throughout the world. You can visit India to find yourself in the mountains of Himalayas and to be mesmerized by the ancient temples. Welcome to our channel Around the World with Dua Mumtaz. Today we are going to share a history of Amarāvati Stupa, popularly known as the Great Stupa at Amaravati, is a ruined Buddhist monument, probably built in phases between the 3rd century, at Amarāvati village, Palnadu district, Andhra Pradesh, India. If you like our informative video, please click the like button and share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe our channel and hit the bell icon so you will receive timely notification whenever we uploaded new videos. Let's get started. The Amarāvati Stupa, popularly known as the Great Stupa at Amaravati, is a ruined Buddhist monument, probably built in phases between the 3rd century, at Amaravati village, Palnadu district, Andhra Pradesh, India. The site is under the protection of the Archaeological Survey of India. The campus includes the stupa itself and the Archaeological Museum. The important sculptures from the site are now in a number of museums in India and abroad. Many are considerably damaged. The great majority of sculptures are in shallow relief, and the surviving sculptures do not include large iconic Buddha figures, although it is clear these once existed. The largest collections are the group in the Government Museum, Chennai, that in the Amaravati Archaeological Museum, and the group in the British Museum in London. Like other major early Indian stupas, but to an unusual extent, the Amaravati sculptures include several representations of the stupa itself, which, although they differ, partly reflecting the different stages of building, give a good idea of its original appearance. The name Amaravati is relatively modern, having been applied to the town and site after the Amareshwar Lingaswaman temple was built in the 18th century. The oldest maps and plans, drawn by Colin Mackenzie and dated 1816, label the stupa simply as the Deepaladima or Hill of Lights. The monument was not called a stupa in ancient inscriptions, but rather the Mahachetya or Great Sanctuary. The stupa, or Mahachetya, was probably founded in the 3rd century before Christ in the time of Asoka, but there is no decisive evidence for the foundation. The earliest inscription from the site belongs to the early centuries before Christ, but it cannot be assigned to Asoka with certainty. The main construction phases of Amaravati fall in 2 main periods, with the additions consisting of railings, Vedika and carved slabs placed around the stupa proper. These slabs are usually called drum slabs, because they were placed round the base of the stupa, which has a shape similar to a circular drum. In the early period, the stupa had a simple railing consisting of granite pillars, with plain crossbars, and coping stones. The coping stones with youths and animal reliefs, the early drum slabs, and some other early fragments belong to this period. The stupa must have been fairly large at this time, considering the size of the granite pillars, some of which are still seen in situ, following excavations. The late period of construction started around 50 before Christ and continued until circa 250 century. This period is divided into 3 phases by Akira Shimada on the basis of the dates that can be assigned to parts of the Great Limestone Railing. The first phase is 50th century, and the same period is the Sanchi Stupa eye gateways. The second phase is 50 to 100th century, the same period is Karli Ketya and the Pandavleni caves at Nasik. The third phase is circa 200 to 250 century based on comparisons with Nagarjuna Konda sculpture. Some other types of sculpture belong to an even later time, about the 7th or 8th centuries, and include standing bodhisattvas and goddesses. Amaravati continued to be active after this time, probably to about the 13th century. It was built under the Satavahana dynasty. Westerners were first alerted to the ruins of the stupa at Amaravati after a visit in 1797 by Major Colin Mackenzie. On the right bank of the Krishna River in the Andhra district of southeast India, Mackenzie came across a huge Buddhist construction built of bricks and faced with slabs of limestone. By the time he returned in 1816, indiscriminate excavations had already destroyed what remained of the structure, and many of the bricks had been reused to build local houses. Mackenzie carried out further excavations, recorded what he saw, and drew a plan of the stupa. In 1845, Sir Walter Elliot of the Madras Civil Service explored the area around the stupa and excavated near the west gate of the railing, removing many sculptures to Madras, now called Chennai. They were kept outside the local college before being transported to the Madras Museum. At this time, India was run by the East India Company, and it was to that company that the curator of the museum appealed. The curator, Dr. Edward Balfour, was concerned that the artifacts were deteriorating, so in 1853 he started to raise a case for them to be moved. Excavation of the south gate of the stupa by J.G. Horsfall in 1880. By 1855, he had arranged for both photographs and drawings to be made of the artifacts, now called the Elliot marbles. 75 photographs taken by Captain Linnæus Tripe are now in the British Library. The sculptures were exported to London in 1859. Robert Sewell made further excavations in the 1880s, recording his excavations in some detail with drawings and sketches, but not in the detail that would now be expected. Plans have also been put in place to create a purpose-built exhibition space for the sculptures still in India. Those marbles not in an air-conditioned store were said to show signs of damage from the atmosphere and salt. The Chennai Museum has plans for an air-conditioned gallery to install the sculptures, but these goals have yet to be realized. The region between the Krishna and Godavari rivers was an important place for Buddhism from the 2nd century before Christ onwards. A Buddhist stupa was built during the reign of Ashoka in 200 before Christ, carved with panels that tell the story of Buddha. The story of the sculptures, including their discovery, misuse and destruction and subsequent preservation and distribution to various museums Chennai, Calcutta, London, etc., has been poignantly described by Shamada. During the period of the decline of Buddhism, the stupa was neglected and was buried under rubble. A 14th century inscription in Sri Lanka mentions repairs made to the stupa, and after that it was forgotten. The stupa is related to the Vajrayana teachings of Kalachakra, still practiced today in Tibetan Buddhism. The Dalai Lama of Tibet conducted a Kalachakra initiation at this location in 2006. Art historians regard the art of Amaravati as one of the three major styles or schools of ancient Indian art, the other two being the Mathura style and the Gandharam style. The Amaravati school of art had great influence on art in Sri Lanka and Southeast Asia. It also had influence over South Indian sculpture. The Chinese traveler and Buddhist monk Huan-Sang Shanzang visited Amaravati in 640 century, stayed for some time and studied Abhidhammapitakam. Shanzang wrote a glorious account of the place, viharas and monasteries that exist.